Alright, you guys are probably used to me making videos on Roblox and how bad they're doing. Well, I'm gonna do it with Fortnite this time. I mean, it's not 100% bad, but there's some positive things about this, but there's also some negatives. So, let me know in the comments if you think this is going to be either great or bad. So, let's begin. So, Roblox in the past has had microtransactions for years. Well, now I'm announcing that I have now found out that Fortnite has now released microtransactions to creator experiences on their platform. This opens a lot of things for their platform. Now, the good news is creators can make more money, which means more incentive to make good Fortnite games. Um, However, the other pros can be that it could eventually lead to maybe better quality of Fortnite experiences. I would love to see better quality games. Because I feel like this could work, because it will actually get incentive. Now, the negatives and the cons are, if they happen, the first one being people overpricing stuff. In Roblox is a microtransaction underworld, and it is literally filled with a lot of people who just overprice their stuff nowadays. Now, if you've been following my channel during the Do Big Studios days of Roblox, where said company takes over a game after they buy them off of somebody, and then they decide to inflate the prices, and then said game dies. Hopefully this problem does not come to Fortnite. I do not want to have something like this happen on Fortnite. Please. Because I don't even wish that on Steal the Brainrot, because the way any game dies like that is just painful. I've seen it too many times, and I don't want to see it anymore. Next is again, the next con could be certain games become pay to win. Not all, this is completely dependent on the developer and if they're greedy or not. Considering that Fortnite doesn't have a lot of players, there's really no incentive to be greedy, because if you lose that fan base, you lose that fan base. Only around like 1% of Fortnite experiences in the game have at least one active player right now. Which actually 1% is a lot, actually. You would think it would be much lower than that, but it's not. That means that to those 1% of game developers that have players, your objective is to keep people playing your game. You don't want to lose your fan base, and your game doesn't want to die. So adding pay-to-win things will not help you. Second, another con is loot boxes. Now, Fortnite themselves stated that there won't be any loot boxes, but because technically the odds are shown in the purchase. So basically, they're allowed to do loot boxes, but they have to show what percentage is going to be shown. So it's gonna be like Grow a Garden. How if you go to open an egg, it will tell you what the odds are to get everything inside that egg. And same thing with the seed packs. It's going to be just like that. That's for those who used to play Grow a Garden. That's basically what's going to be happening here for Fortnite loot boxes. Next, the next con is again going to be greedy games. Um, I feel like this could negatively impact games in a way if they choose to use microtransactions in the wrong way. If they use it in the correct way, they will work. The next con I want to talk about is the pricing, basically. Now, the minimum price is not a problem. It's 50 V-Bucks because again, you can set the prices to things. 50 V-Bucks is like what? 50 cents? 50 US dollars? That's the lowest you can set something to. However, it's the maximum that I have a problem with. Because the maximum amount of V-Bucks you can put on a product or Game Pass in Fortnite is 5,000 V-Bucks. That is equivalent to 50 US dollars. I'm not spending that much money. I haven't even spent that much money in a single Game Pass on Roblox, let alone, I don't even think I've spent 10. In my professional opinion, I think the limit should be 1,000 V-Bucks, not 5,000 V-Bucks. I don't want cash grabs to start putting Game Passes at 5,000 V-Bucks. Epic, if you're watching this, you should know dang well no one's buying any Game Pass on a creator experience, which we already know creator experiences are the worst version of Roblox experiences. Why would you expect somebody to buy anything for that high of a price? Heck, there are currently people who are boycotting creative mode just because of this, which I'm not going to boycott creative mode because of this, because it really depends on the developer, not the company. Because I think this could be a great move for the company, but it depends on the developers if they become greedy or not. So instead of backlashing at Fortnite for in-app purchases like this, whenever something goes wrong in a game, backlash a developer that made the creator experience. Epic is making a good move here, because this is a good business This is a good business practice, and it's actually another way for creators to make money, and I support that. But some of these creators will abuse it, so it's up to us to call them out for it. But the only thing I don't agree with is, again, the maximum price. It shouldn't be 550. It shouldn't be 5,000 V-Bucks. Come on. I think the most you should do is, I think the most amount of money most people are going to be willing to spend on a game is like maybe 100 V-Bucks for casual creator gamers and 500 for like people who are super fans of a creator experience. And maybe sometimes 1,000, but I don't see anyone spending more than 1,000 V-Bucks on a Game Pass. So again, that's why I disagree with it being 5,000. I think developers are going to realize that and not set prices that high. However, some products that I've seen in a screenshot were like 300 V-Bucks for a pretty bad item though. So people have already began overpricing stuff. So because again, that's like $3 for something for some useless product. So in my professional opinion, it's up to the devs of games to fix that, if it's up to them. However, this could bring in potentially new customers to Fortnite to create games for them. I think this is going to be a win for that side. The only downside is the community is not really too happy with microtransactions, but I just want to explain why this isn't entirely bad, because I know there's a lot of backlash on here. It's not going to be Epic's fault if a game dies. It is on the developer. So, just like, for example, I'm going to take a Roblox game called, I don't know. There's a bunch of games that I can name from Do Big Studios. I'm going to try to find one of the most prominent ones. Blade Ball. Blade Ball was a game that was really popular. It was in the top 10 on Roblox of about a year ago, or so, maybe less than that, maybe more than that. I don't remember. Blade Ball was really fun back then. There were no bad things under the previous administration of Blade Ball. The pricing was perfect. Then after that, the game got bought by Do Big Studios. Then they added all of these extremely expensive purchases into the game. Like, I'm talking, you can't even walk 2 feet without seeing another microtransaction, and they'll just pop up everywhere. This led players to quit the game. And that is why Do Big Studios is one of the most hated groups on Roblox. So, notice how they're not blaming David Baszucki for that. That's because it's not his fault. It is Do Big Studios' fault. Now, I do still agree that David Baszucki's still a terrible person for putting profit over child protection, but in this scenario, it is not his fault. It is technically Do Big Studios' fault. So that's why it's not going to be Epic. So the fact that people are mad at Epic for this monetization update is a little insane. You can't blame Epic Games for adding this. It's just a good move. And why wouldn't you? This is the perfect opportunity for Fortnite to become popular, especially after Roblox's new AI update that's going to drive players away from it. So you want to capitalize on this. But the cons are really up to the developers, not Epic. So it's more like, so if the developer fricks up, it's not going to be Epic's fault. I don't see why people are boycotting this that much. If you find a game that you really enjoy playing, there's a couple of games I sometimes love to play on Fortnite. Sometimes I play obbies, sometimes I play a 99 million feet slide if I wanted to. I played that like a lot because that gives me a lot of XP and it was somewhat entertaining. And of course there's a bunch of other games that you can play. There's a bunch of shooter games that are fun to play. As long as they don't add pay-to-win weapons, I'm okay with that. But again, it's up to the developers to do that. And if they do, let's say such game does kill their game, they're just going to move to another game of that same type. There are lots of games of that same type. So developers are tempted not to do that, to overprice everything, because competition is high in Roblox or in Fortnite. For those of you who don't know, there are lots of box fight maps. There are lots of build fight maps. There are lots of pretty much maps of every single type. All of them are competing against each other. The moment you overprice something is going to be the moment your fans will move from your game to your rival game. Let's take I'm going to try to think of 2 Fortnite games that I would really think of this. Crazy Red vs. Blue and Super Red vs. Blue. Let's say Crazy Red vs. Blue adds something that adds a lot of microtransactions to their game. Those people aren't just going to stick. Then the fans of that game will move to Super Red vs. Blue. And then Crazy Red vs. Blue would die. This would be the same case with every genre. I can't think of a single game that doesn't have a rival right now on Fortnite, other than Steal the Brain Rot. Actually, that's not even true either, because there's a bunch of Brain Rot games now. So, developers can't afford to overprice everything. So, and Fortnite games are more vulnerable to dying than Roblox games are. So I don't think this is the end of the world like most of these people in Roblox think it is. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I've originally wanted this to be a short, but I yapped for long enough for that. It's a normal video, so let me know on what your comments let me know what your thoughts are on this in the comments below. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon.